nombre es Gabriel Gallegos. Saludos a todos aquellos seguidores de Hacktivac Ministries, en especial a nuestra comunidad latina. El día de hoy queremos compartir con ustedes uno de los artículos más impresionantes que podemos tener en nuestra tienda virtual. Te invitamos a que te quedes y a conocer más del modelo tridimensional del templo. Les presento el nuevo modelo del templo. Una de las cosas adicionales que se han agregado en esta impresión es esta base donde está de una manera inclinada a 45 grados. ¿Para qué? Para que pueda enseñarse mejor a nuestra audiencia. O si usted, al igual que a mí, le gusta ponerlo de la manera tradicional y ponerlo en una superficie plana, pues también puedo hacerlo. De esta manera usted lo puede poner en su oficina o en su lugar de estudio o en su lugar de reunión. ¿Para qué? Para que la gente pueda admirar la gran maravilla de lo que se ha podido llegar a hacer. Ahora les voy a invitar a que me sigan acompañando para mirar las siguientes adiciones que se le han agregado a este nuevo modelo. Uno de los nuevos aspectos de este nuevo modelo tridimensional son los colores que se han añadido, como el color oro, el color blanco, un café y un café un poquito más claro. Podemos mirar el color blanco en los 15 escalones que están en el atrio de las mujeres, como también en las 4 lámparas. Podemos mirar el color blanco en el misbeaj, en el altar, como también en los 2 escalones que están entre el ulam y el altar. Podemos encontrar este color blanco también en estos pequeños mikvaot o también baños de inmersión que se han añadido. También podemos apreciar en el misbeaj, el altar, se agregaron a color las 3 fogatas y en el centro podemos encontrar de color café más claro las cenizas del altar. Otro de los buenos beneficios de este modelo es de que los edificios adicionales, el techo puede ser removido. En el edificio sureste podemos mirar cómo el área donde el Sanedrín se reunía para hacer sus juicios, y también se ha agregado un color azul en donde está el lavacro, para así poder distinguir las diferentes áreas. Les agradecemos mucho a cada uno de ustedes, especialmente a la comunidad latina, por estarnos acompañando. Pueden ir a Jerusalem Temple Studies y buscar la opción tienda o store en inglés y luego buscar modelos del templo y ahí podrán obtener el suyo. Bendiciones y gracias por su apoyo. Shalom.
All right. Shalom, everyone. The I've got several announcements before we begin tonight. Um, Number one, we were very saddened to hear that Randy Fields and his wife they lost their son, at least one of their sons. I'm not sure how many children they had, but their son was 30 years old, and he had his funeral today. And I was going to give him a call, but I didn't. All I had was his work number, and Darren Huckey. I called him, and he supplied me with his number. Randy lives in Arkansas, and we've known him for years. And please be praying for them. It's very hard to lose a child, and I will be calling him tomorrow, and I'll try to remember to give you an update on their situation next week. We found out last night that a very close friend of ours, Jeanette Miller, passed away, and I'll be attending a memorial service for her on Thursday. But she has one surviving son, Tony Miller, and please be praying for that family. Jeanette was a wonderful person. I do have several other announcements. Number one is we need a volunteer that's good with computers, that would not require a lot of time. It's not a difficult thing, but to help with one aspect of our newsletter. If you're interested, if you would let us know through the chat, and I'll see that, and we'll see if we can get some help that we need. We would really appreciate it. Now, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be doing at least one interview and possibly two with Yehuda Ben Zvi. He'll be talking about the red heifer that was born in Israel. He's also going to be talking about a new program that they have. Now, I want you to understand when I say this, they are not, my understanding, and he might correct me, which will come out in the interview, but my understanding is that they have made a decision that they're not going to accept donations for the red heifer, okay, from non-Jews. And I actually think that's a wise decision. Number one is that it's something that should be done by the Jewish people at large. But number two is that they've had some bad experiences with people taking and putting out false information, and they want to keep this under control. But we will be posting this up on our YouTube channel. It will also go on the Jerusalem Temple Study site. And we're going to see, it might take us a day or two to get it edited and get some type of intro, outro before it goes up, but we'll have it very soon. And I hope every one of you will watch it, share it, and like it because it is tremendously exciting news and are things that are happening. Now, what they will accept donations for, and we've been working today to get this set up, is they have a program to educate Jews all over Israel on the coming temple, on the Holy Temple, and what the temple means, why it's important. And this is a major, major step. So it's a education program. And I asked Yehuda if we could donate to that. And so if you go to the Jerusalem Temple Study, there is a place that you can click to make donations for that. Now, just like what we have with the David Fund. And we still have the David Fund. I sent money just in the last few days over there. And That money is still being applied and is very necessary right now. But if you would like to donate to the Temple Education Program, okay, that does not go to us. It does not go to us or to our research group or anything along those lines. It specifically is going to Israel and to help them to build this program and it to be a success. So on the Jerusalem Temple Study, you'll see there is a new donation button. There's actually, it comes up right when you click on it. Okay. I'm going to move into our message for tonight. This is a heavy message. Okay, this is a heavy message, and I've got a lot of heavy things to say. I have a video that I'm going to show. It's short. There's no sound with it, so I might be speaking and pointing out things as the video's playing, but it's very impressive. Okay, and so let me go ahead and get started. And give me a second to get everything lined up here. And I do hope that you will have many questions, many comments. I hope that, if you're getting something from it, that you'll hit the like button, you'll hit the share button. If you're on Facebook, that you would follow us. If you're on YouTube, that you would subscribe. And I appreciate everyone that has done this. And we're trying to, especially on YouTube, get our subscriptions up. Okay, so let's get this show on the road here. And all right, so most everyone is aware that there are peace negotiations going on in Switzerland between the United States and Iran. There is a 14-point memorandum that has come out. And these are the conditions at this time for the peace deal. And so the question is, has the United States turned on Israel? That it's prophesied in the book of Zechariah that the whole world will turn against Israel. Israel will be standing alone at some point. Is this where the United States makes that turn? And I would say maybe yes, and a very slight maybe no. Okay, so this is the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, so I'm going to go through the 14 paragraphs, and I'll make comments as we go. But we've got quite a bit after that. I've got a lot of facts and information that you might not be aware of. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, by signing this MOU, declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operations against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. Notice how that Lebanon is a key factor here. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions of this paragraph. These are paragraphs 2 and 3. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and to refrain from interfering in each other's internal affairs. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in maximum 60 days, extendable with mutual consent. Immediately upon the signing of this MOU, the United States of America will begin the removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and will fully end the naval blockade within 30 days. During this period, the traffic of vessels will be in proportion to the number of pre-war traffic being restored by the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity excuse me, of the Islamic Republic of Iran within 30 days after the final deal. Upon the signing of this MOU, this is paragraph 5, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only. Okay, that's a key part here. From the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and considering the needs for removing the technical and military obstacles and determining by the Islamic Republic of Iran, will be instated within 30 days. The Islamic Republic of Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultanate of Oman to define the future administration and maritime services in the Strait of Hormuz in discussion with other Persian Gulf littoral states in line with the applicable international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz. The United States of America undertakes with regional partners, paragraph 6, to develop a definitive mutually agreed plan with at least US dollars 300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of a final deal within 60 days. I have a major problem with this paragraph. The 300 billion, even if this is greatly financed by states such as Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, all of these, I still have a major problem. To begin with, the monies in the past, what were they spent for? No, they were spent for building military to use against the United States, against Israel, and against many of these Arab states. And their support for the groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and others. I do not trust them with a dollar, much less 300 billion. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of a final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by the United States of America. The United States of America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions, the IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, in an agreed upon schedule as part of the final deal. The Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America acknowledge the critical importance of the sanctions termination issue above mentioned and express their intentions to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. The Islamic Republic of Iran, this is paragraph 8, reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. By the way, this isn't the first time that they've agreed to this. And in the past, their track record indicates that they will say yes at the negotiating table, and then they continue with what they were always doing. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpile enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be mutually agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7, with the minimum methodology to be down blending on site under the supervision of the IAEA. The two parties also agreed to discuss the issue of enrichment and other mutually agreed matters related to the Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear needs based on a satisfactory framework being agreed upon in the final deal. The final deal will confirm the provisions of this paragraph. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran acknowledge the critical importance of the nuclear issues above mentioned and express their intention to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. Paragraph 9. Pending the final deal, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran agreed to maintain the status quo. The Islamic Republic of Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, and the United States of America will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces in the region. The United States of America undertakes that immediately, paragraph 10, upon the signing of this MOU and until the termination of sanctions, U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, and derivatives, and all associated services, including banking transactions, insurances, transportation, etc. Paragraph 11. The United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during negotiations. Such funds, whether obtaining the original account or transfer, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, that sentence says they can do whatever they want with the money. They might agree that they will not give money to Hezbollah or to the Houthis or to Hamas or to other terrorist groups. And they might not give it to groups with those names, but it's going to take a lot of convincing that they will not set up dummy organizations to give to that will in turn turn that money over to the terrorists. The United States of America undertakes to issue all necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. Paragraphs 12, 13, and 14. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran agree that an executive mechanism will be established to monitor the successful implementation of this MOU and the future compliance of the final deal. Paragraph 13. After signing this MOU and subject to the beginning of the implementation of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 of this MOU and the continuing implementation of these measures, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will start negotiations regarding the final deal exclusively on the other paragraphs. Paragraph 14, this final deal will be endorsed by a binding UNSC resolution. Now, this is an article that came out in Israel 365 2 days ago. It's by Tamar Stein. The numbers tell a story that Israeli officials are struggling to spin away. A Channel 12 poll published Thursday revealed that only 11% of Israelis believe Israel won the war with Iran, while 43% say Israel lost and 41% describe the outcome as inconclusive. At the same time, 71% of the Israelis do not trust President Trump to protect Israeli interests in a deal with Iran, up from 62% just 1 week earlier. These are not the numbers of a nation celebrating victory. I would totally agree. And if you go back 3 months, you'll find that, possibly 4, you will find that Trump was by far, he was the most popular American president in the history of Israel. I've got a lot of information, so I'm going to go fairly fast. The figures represent a seismic shift in Israeli public opinion toward a president who has long enjoyed remarkable popularity in the Jewish state. For years, poll after poll showed Israelis embracing Trump as a once-in-a-generation ally. That reservoir goodwill is draining fast. A series of increasingly public disagreements between Washington and Jerusalem, capped by Vice President J.D. Vance's blunt warning to Israeli critics of the deal, wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in, has underscored the depth of the current rift. Now, at this point, I want to say that I am very against this deal. I believe that it is a betrayal of Israel. I also, I cannot support President Trump in this, and I have growing suspicions concerning Vice President Vance. One of the things that has greatly bothered me, and I think that the terminology that has been used from Trump and Vance has been insulting, degrading, and should have never been used towards a nation that is an ally, or towards the prime minister of the nation, towards the Jewish people at large. And I am very appalled at what has happened. All right. Continuing with this article, Trump also pushed back hard against Israeli skepticism about the deal itself. The Israeli people should support the deal because we took the nuclear weapon threat away against Israel. I do not agree with that statement. I believe the only way to take away the nuclear threat of Iran is to totally defeat Iran, to destroy the missiles and to destroy the capability totally to make these missiles. I believe that not only Iran, but within the Islamic world, that you can agree to anything. You can lie in the agreements, and you can continue to work in as long as your goal is that you will eventually win. Okay, and I think that's what's going on here. All right. He told Cam. He repeated a claim he made earlier in the week. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, Israel wouldn't exist right now. I have a major problem with that statement because it's denying that Israel has a relationship with the Almighty God. And Israel will not disappear. There is no way that Israel will disappear because we have it in the Word of God. Now, what this indicates to me is that a person that will make that statement does not have a faith, a belief, or even know what God has said. And so, continuing on here, he made the statement they would have been blown off the planet. On the question of Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium left unresolved by the MOU and subject to future negotiations, Trump was dismissive. I don't like that. It's buried under a mountain that nobody can get to except us. Well, I disagree with that statement. It's very safely, and I disagree with the word safely, buried under a mountain, and at the right time, we will get it, he said. It's very unimportant, frankly. I think that statement is an understatement and a misguided statement. It is a very important item. Hezbollah's ongoing campaign. Hezbollah explicit. Oh, by the way, this is from the Alma Research and Education Center. You can look it up. You just type that in, and you can go to the site yourself. And there's going to be some dramatic figures here. Hezbollah's ongoing campaign. Hezbollah explicitly stated its attacks are meant to target the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, operating in southern Lebanon, and to support its regional allies. Since a fragile ceasefire was initiated on April 17th, Hezbollah has launched over 1,100 attack waves. You know, there was not, there was a lot about guaranteeing the safety of Lebanon, but if you notice in the 14 edicts, Israel was not mentioned at all. Okay, so in other words, there was no statement of guaranteeing Israel's safety. Okay, including weaponized explosive drones and rocket barrages aimed at northern Israeli communities just recently. A Hezbollah drone and anti-tank missile struck an IDF tank, killed 4 soldiers, including a battalion commander. He was a lieutenant colonel. He was from the 401st Brigade, which is a brigade I'm familiar with. It was stationed just east of Jerusalem on the road down to the Dead Sea. It was horrible. And this does not go into how many soldiers were also wounded. The key trends this week, during the past week, so we're talking from the 15th to the 21st of June, okay, we're on the 23rd of June, Hezbollah carried out 36 attack waves against Israel and IDF forces, marking a significant decrease compared to the previous week, June 8th through the 14th, during which 134 attack waves were recorded. Of the total attacks this week, 35 were directed against IDF forces operating in southern Lebanon, while only 1 attack targeted Israeli territory. This attack involved an explosive drone near the community of Zarit and apparently crashed in an open area. Hezbollah's offensive activity was concentrated within only 5 of the 7 days of the week. On the 17th of June, the organization recorded an exceptional peak of activity, carrying out 20 attacks, approximately 56 of all attacks conducted during the week. Beginning on the 16th of June, Hezbollah ceased publishing its daily claims of responsibility, through which it had routinely detailed all attacks carried out against Israel and IDF forces. However, the actual level of operational activity remained significant. During the week, 6 IDF soldiers were killed as a result of Hezbollah attacks in southern Lebanon, 5 of them on the 19th and 20th of June. Between the 17th and 20th of June, so this is Tuesday, the 20th would have been on Shabbat. Hezbollah continued to publish 1 or 2 daily statements focusing on clashes with IDF forces in the areas of Kfar Temnid and the Ali al-Tahrir Ridge. Now I'm going to show you a video of that particular ridge. This area constitutes an exceptionally and operationally significant asset for Hezbollah. No Hezbollah attacks were recorded on the 21st of June. in terms of weapon systems. High trajectory fire, rockets, mortars, and artillery accounted for the majority of attacks this week, with 20 attacks, 55.6 of all attacks, followed by UAVs and drones with 9 attacks, 25%. In addition, the organization carried out 2 anti-tank guided missiles, ATGM attacks, 2 IED attacks, and 1 incident in which the type of weapon used could not be identified. Since the beginning of the ceasefire, April 17th to the 21st of June, Hezbollah has carried out 1,163 attack waves against Israel and IDF forces. Of these attacks, 919 attack waves, 79% were directed against IDF forces operating in southern Lebanon, while 244 attack waves, 21%, targeted Israeli territory, Israeli communities. Okay, and we're going to have some comments coming up on this. The breakdown of attacks by weapon type highlights the continued centrality of UAVs and drones with Hezbollah's offensive campaign. Since the beginning of the ceasefire, Hezbollah has carried out 637 attack waves against UAVs and drones, accounting for approximately 55% of all attacks. In addition, the organization conducted 402 attack waves using high trajectory fire weapons. The remaining attacks, including 42 anti-aircraft fire incidents, 31 ATGM attacks, 22 IED attacks, 14 incidents in which there was insufficient information to determine the weapon type, and 6 incidents involving small arms fire. Now, this is a quote from, I believe this was on X. This is from Benjamin Netanyahu. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says, no matter what happens in the talks, with an agreement, without an agreement, I pledge to you that Iran, as long as I'm Prime Minister, will never have a nuclear weapon, never. As long as I am the Prime Minister of Israel, I will not let that happen. As long as we need to protect our people, we will remain in the security zone in South Lebanon. No country will be asked to do otherwise. Now, the next part I want you to pay attention to. Now, you imagine the United States across the border. You have an army of thousands of terrorists who pellet your cities and your towns with rockets and ballistic missiles and killer drones. They kill your soldiers. They kill your citizens. They kill your children, and they threaten them every day. Well, what would America do? Stop and think about that. What would we do? Would it say, well, there's nothing we can do, let's hold our fire? Is that what America would say? No. You know well what America would do. It would cross the border, create a security zone, kill the terrorists, and protect its people until the threat is removed. That's exactly what we are doing. Now, this is the Institute for the Study of War. You can go to at the Study of War, and you can see this for yourself. Iran secured a number of gains from the quadrilateral talks with the United States, Qatar, and Pakistan and Switzerland on June 21st. One of these gains includes the establishment of a deconfliction cell to oversee the ceasefire in Lebanon that excludes Israel and appears to replace a previous monitoring mechanism that enabled Israeli operations in Lebanon under the November 2024 ceasefire. Okay, so, and let me explain this. There was an agreement in November 2024, and it said that Israel could establish a buffer zone. Okay, now we're not talking 30 miles into Lebanon. We're talking about 3 kilometers. Okay, I think it's 3 kilometers is the the extent of it. I could be wrong, but it is not going to be more than double that. Okay, so I'm going to give you something in a moment that hopefully will put this in perspective. The new mechanism includes the United States, Iran, Qatar, oh, they're great friends of ours, the Lebanese government, and Pakistan. The previous mechanism, often referred to as the Ceasefire Monitoring Committee, enabled Israel to conduct operations against Hezbollah and degrade the threat Hezbollah posed to Israel following Israel's defeat of Hezbollah in 2024. The mechanism included Israel, Lebanon, the United States, France, and the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon called UNIFIL. It is unclear how the newly established deconfliction cell will function. The disempowerment of the former mechanism in favor of a new deconfliction cell that excludes Israel nonetheless benefits Iran because it removes a recognized forum in which Israel raised Hezbollah violations and acted against them if necessary. Both Iran and Hezbollah could materially benefit from a constrained Israeli ability to confront Hezbollah. Now, I'm going to repeat that sentence. Both Iran and Hezbollah could materially benefit from a constrained Israeli ability to confront Hezbollah. Now, this is again, this is from the Institute for the Study of War. And the structure of the newly established deconfliction cell to oversee the ceasefire in Lebanon appears to constrain Israeli action against Hezbollah by eliminating the post-2024 ceasefire monitoring mechanism, which allowed Israel to act against Hezbollah's ceasefire violations in certain circumstances. Iran secured a number of gains for the quadrilateral talks with the United States, Qatar, and Pakistan in Switzerland on June 21st. One of these gains includes the establishment of a deconfliction cell to oversee the ceasefire in Lebanon that excludes Israel and appears to replace a previous monitoring mechanism that enabled Israeli operations in Lebanon under the November 2024 ceasefire. The new mechanism includes the United States, Iran, Qatar, the Lebanese government, and Pakistan. Now, let me mention on the Lebanese government is totally infiltrated by Hezbollah. The previous mechanism, often referred to as the Ceasefire Monitoring Committee, enabled Israel to conduct operations against Hezbollah and degrade the threat Hezbollah posed to Israel following Israel's defeat of Hezbollah in 2024. This mechanism included Israel, Lebanon, the United States, France, and the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon. Israel, under this mechanism, reported Hezbollah ceasefire violations to the mechanism in order for the Lebanese Armed Forces, the LAF, to address the violations. Israel took action to neutralize the Hezbollah threats with force when the LAF failed to address or insufficiently address the Hezbollah violations, which frequently occurred. Israeli media reported that the newly agreed upon mechanism before the United States, Iran, Qatar, and Pakistan is designated or is designed to replace the former Ceasefire Monitoring Committee. It is unclear how the newly established deconfliction cell will function. The disempowerment of the former mechanism in favor of new deconfliction cell that excludes Israel nonetheless benefits Iran because it removes recognized forum in which Israel raised Hezbollah violations and acted against them if necessary. Both Iran and Hezbollah can materially benefit from a constrained Israeli ability to confront Hezbollah. This is from the Study of War. Key takeaways: the structure of a newly established deconfliction cell to oversee the ceasefire in Lebanon appears to constrain Israeli action against Hezbollah by eliminating the post-2024 ceasefire monitoring mechanism. Iran has secured economic relief through a U.S. Treasury Department sanctions waiver for Iranian oil and petrochemical exports, and a reported Iran-Qatar memorandum of understanding that facilitates the unfreezing of Iranian assets. Give me a second. I want to see where I want to put this. I want to show this right now. Let me stop sharing. And let me pull something up here. All right, you will not be able to hear. And I am hoping you're able to see this. Now, you see what the little arrow is? This is a tunnel system. Okay. This tunnel system is 6 kilometers into Lebanon. That is 3.75 miles. I want you to see this costs literally millions and millions. There's a medical facility within it. Right now, as we are talking, there is a battle going on in this. This is the part that has been so far. You see how close it is to Israel, approximately 6 kilometers, 3.3, 3.75 miles. And we'll look at it again, but look at this massive thing. There are several hundred Hezbollah fighters in there, and every day there are actions that are conducted against Israel. And here's my concern. This money that we're giving back to Iran, this is what they use it for. This is what they do with it. And how many tunnels do you think these are more sophisticated, by the way, than the tunnels that are in Gaza. Okay. It's a mountainous region to begin with. There are more fighters. They have bigger stockpiles of weapons and all kinds of things. One of the big concerns, and this will come out in some of the texts that we're going to see, is that Israel did not see the 14 paragraphs that you just saw until they were in Switzerland. Israel was left out. Israel was told they couldn't see them because they were afraid they would leak them to the public. I don't buy that. They are our allies. They have been side by side with us. And I believe that there is something very bad that is going on here. All right, we're going to go a little bit further. And wait a minute. Okay. All right. This came out today from Israel 365 when J.D. Vance describes a mechanism to talk it through with Hezbollah after an escalation. Wait a minute, I need to do something here. Okay. When J.D. Vance describes a mechanism to talk through with Hezbollah after an escalation, he is threatening a genocidal terror organization like a misunderstood neighbor. It would be funny if it weren't so dangerous. The Lebanon deconfliction agreement itself is even worse than Vance's words suggested. The deal brokered by Qatar and Pakistan doesn't include Israel at all. It's a direct U.S.-Iran track Israel, which has been fighting in Lebanon, which has lost soldiers there, which has endured thousands of rockets and drones fired at its northern towns, was not in the room. They were not invited. And basically, they knew they were not invited. They were told you were not invited. And yet the agreement contains language committing to an immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. The United States negotiated over what Israel can and cannot do without Israel's knowledge or consent. By the way, let me stop sharing for a moment. Israel is, as they are saying, they are, whatever happens here, Israel will continue to deal with Hezbollah, deal with Lebanon. And I spoke with an officer I know that his unit is pulling out and going into Lebanon tomorrow. And this is a very, very, very serious thing. Now, one of the things that has been emerging more and more is, one, the question of why did Trump just turn as he did? Not only did he turn and say, let's negotiate, but where Trump and Bibi were working closely together. The Israeli and the American military were working closely together, and then it just basically stopped. One of the things that has been coming out, and I talked to an individual, not in the military, today in Israel, and there was something that was put forth. I'm going to tell it to you. I really don't think this is what's happening, but I'm still, I want to give, the benefit of the doubt. As I mentioned earlier, and as most of you know, that Trump was very, very popular in Israel, much more popular than he is here in the United States, until all of this ceasefire and negotiations started and the repeated threats. One of the things that has been coming out is that there is talk about some of the cabinet members not being seeing eye to eye with President Trump on this. But Vance not only seems to be he seems to be behind much of it, and I think that we should keep our eyes on J.D. Vance. One of the things I mentioned that I was told today. I had several conversations with Israel today. One of the things that I was told is that this individual believes that Trump is wanting to get rid of Vance, and that he's letting him take this and run with it, and when it fails, he'll dismiss it. Now, I don't believe that's what's happening. But I do believe that right now, President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance are a threat to Israel. Okay. All right. And yet, picking up at the bottom of this paragraph, and yet the agreement contains language committing to an immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. The United States negotiated over what Israel can and cannot do without Israel's knowledge or consent. People, something's wrong with that. That is not what I would expect of an ally. It's like can you imagine the United States entering an agreement with another country and saying, okay, Europe or Germany or France, they will do so and so. And you haven't even consulted them, you haven't even talked with them. So let's go for it. When Israeli cabinet ministers said they didn't consider themselves bound by this deal, Vance went to the podium and told them to remember who paid for their Iron Dome. Okay, so let's see about that. That argument deserves an honest answer. Yes, 2/3 of the specific air defense weapons used in recent months were manufactured in America. But 75% of U.S. military aid to Israel must, by law, be spent on American weapons, generating an estimated $40 billion a year for the American economy. In other words, that they give us the money, or they give Israel the money, and then Israel has to spend 75% of that in buying American weapons or American armaments, okay? And that's going to be Israel's Achilles heel, is that they do not have a munitions ability yet. They are working on it, okay? But let's continue on. The 2016 Obama era MOU phased out Israel's ability to spend any of that aid on its own defense industry, redirecting over $1 billion a year away from Israeli factories and into American contractors. And annual U.S. military aid amounts to just 8.4% of Israel's $45 billion defense budget. You don't get to engineer dependency and then cite that dependency as proof of generosity. I want to go back to what Vance said. Basically, Vance went to the podium and told them to remember who paid for their Iron Dome. Vance also said that Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel. There is real truth in this, and Israeli politicians would do well to remember it. The relationship with Trump matters enormously, and gratuitous public attacks on him serve no one. But sympathy for Israel does not mean that every decision made in Washington is right for Israel. Israel was not party to this agreement. It was not in the negotiations. It never saw a draft. When Israeli ministers said they didn't consider themselves bound by it, that was not an attack on the president. It was a country insisting on its own sovereignty. America first, Israel first. That is how genuine alliances work. The lesson here is when Israel has known for decades, but not yet fully acted on. Full strategic independence is not optional. Israel must build its own defense industry, reduce its reliance on American weapons, and make clear that Israeli security decisions are made in Jerusalem. Netanyahu has already called for phasing out the aid relationship. The $3.8 billion is already shrinking as a percentage of Israel's actual defense spending. The direction is right. The pace needs to be faster, because when even a friendly administration can use military assistance as a lever to silence Israeli objections to a bad deal, that lever needs to go. And this was Rabbi Pesach Wolicki. Okay, he's the director of Israel 365. Now, we're going to go from here after break. And we're going to talk about some of the prophecies and how this affects prophecy, at least from my viewpoint. But I would like your comments on this, if you would. I would like to first off, if there were any things that you didn't realize. I mean, the number of attacks, the nature of the attacks, the right of Israel to defend itself when attacked. And I'd like to know what your feelings are on these 14 points. I'd also like how you feel about the things that are being said about Israel and the government leaders of Israel by our president and vice president. We're going to come back. We're going to go through it. If you've got questions, please do those questions. If you're liking what you're hearing, now I realize that tonight I'm probably getting on a few more lists government-wise than I'm already on. But this is something that I do not feel that I can be silent on. And so if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button and hit the share button. Be sure to follow us and to subscribe. It will help tremendously. We're going to go to break for a few minutes. And let me get here.
Mi nombre es Gabriel Gallegos. Saludos a todos aquellos seguidores de Hack Ministries. en especial a nuestra comunidad latina. El día de hoy queremos compartir con ustedes uno de los artículos más impresionantes que podemos tener en nuestra tienda virtual. Te invitamos a que te quedes y a conocer más del modelo tridimensional del templo. Les presento el nuevo modelo del templo. Una de las cosas adicionales que se han agregado en esta impresión es esta base donde está de una manera inclinada, 45 grados. ¿Para qué? Para que pueda enseñarse mejor a nuestra audiencia. O si usted, al igual que a mí, le gusta ponerlo de la manera tradicional y ponerlo en una superficie plana, pues también puedo hacerlo. De esta manera usted lo puede poner en su oficina o en su lugar de estudio o en su lugar de reunión. ¿Para qué? Para que la gente pueda admirar la gran maravilla de lo que se ha podido llegar a hacer. Ahora les voy a invitar a que me sigan acompañando para mirar las siguientes adiciones que se le han agregado a este nuevo modelo. Uno de los nuevos aspectos de este nuevo modelo tridimensional son los colores que se han añadido, como el color oro, el color blanco, un café y un café un poquito más claro. Podemos mirar el color blanco en los 15 escalones que están en el atrio de las mujeres, como también en las 4 lámparas. Podemos mirar el color blanco en el misbeaj, en el altar, como también en los 2 escalones que están entre el ulam y el altar. Podemos encontrar este color blanco también en estos pequeños mikvaot o también baños de inmersión que se han añadido. También podemos apreciar en el misbeaj, el altar, se agregaron a color las 3 fogatas y en el centro podemos encontrar de color café más claro las cenizas del altar. Otro de los buenos beneficios de este modelo es de que los edificios adicionales, el techo puede ser removido. En el edificio sureste podemos mirar cómo el área donde el Sanedrín se reunía para hacer sus juicios, y también se ha agregado un color azul en donde está el lavacro, para así poder distinguir las diferentes áreas. Les agradecemos mucho a cada uno de ustedes, especialmente a la comunidad latina, por estarnos acompañando. Pueden ir a Jerusalem Temple Studies y buscar la opción tienda o store en inglés y luego buscar modelos del templo y ahí podrán obtener el suyo. Bendiciones y gracias por su apoyo. Shalom. Gabriel Gallegos. Saludos a todos aquellos seguidores de Hacktivac Ministries, en especial a nuestra comunidad latina. El día de hoy queremos compartir con ustedes uno de los artículos más impresionantes que podemos tener en nuestra tienda virtual. Te invitamos a que te quedes y a conocer más del modelo tridimensional del templo. Les presento el nuevo modelo del templo. Una de las cosas adicionales que se han agregado en esta impresión es esta base donde está de una manera inclinada, 45 grados. ¿Para qué? Para que pueda enseñarse mejor a nuestra audiencia. O si usted, al igual que a mí, le gusta ponerlo de la manera tradicional y ponerlo en una superficie plana, pues también puedo hacerlo. De esta manera usted lo puede poner en su oficina o en su lugar de estudio o en su lugar de reunión. ¿Para qué? Para que la gente pueda admirar la gran maravilla de lo que se ha podido llegar a hacer. Ahora les voy a invitar a que me sigan acompañando para mirar las siguientes adiciones que se le han agregado a este nuevo modelo. Uno de los nuevos aspectos de este nuevo modelo tridimensional son los colores que se han añadido, como el color oro, el color blanco, un café y un café un poquito más claro. Podemos mirar el color blanco en los 15 escalones que están en el atrio de las mujeres, como también en las 4 lámparas. Podemos mirar el color blanco en el misbeach, en el altar, como también en los 2 escalones que están entre el ulam y el altar. Podemos encontrar este color blanco también en estos pequeños mikvaot o también baños de inmersión que se han añadido. También podemos apreciar en el misbeach, el altar, se agregaron a color las 3 fogatas y en el centro podemos encontrar de color café más claro las cenizas del altar. Otro de los buenos beneficios de este modelo es de que los edificios adicionales, el techo puede ser removido.
All right. We are back. I want to mention once again, first off, during the break, there was charts that were put up on all 3 of our platforms, on the Hatikva Ministries Facebook page, on my personal Facebook page, and on Joe Good Hatikva. These are charts on the teaching we did on the United States and prophecy called on Babylon. And these were done by Guy DeKemp. Okay, these the initial charts were done by me. He came in, cleaned them up, made them very presentable, and they're there for you to download. There is no way. I spent weeks teaching the prophecies that I believe dealt with the United States in prophecy, and I'm going to briefly go through in just maybe 5 minutes the main points of this. I believe that as we come to the day of the Lord, it will start with the birth pains of the Messiah. I believe that it will start on a Rosh Hashanah. And Rosh Hashanah is the primary name of it outside of Rosh Hashanah. You might know it as Yom Torah. That is the temple service during Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah means the head of the year, but its primary name is Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment. I would encourage you to download the article out of the Jewish Encyclopedia. It's free, it's online, called The Day of Judgment. That it will begin with the coronation of the Messiah, in heaven, not on earth. It will begin with immediately following. And I want to bring this out right now because there is a possibility that I might be wrong in this, okay? I mean, there's a possibility that I could be wrong in any of it, all right? So you need to look and examine, go look the things up for yourself. And that's where these charts are going to come out. I'll show you the charts right here. These, and you can see how many pages it is. It's just, but everything is broken down with your passages, the character of Babylon, the just pages, who is Babylon, how destroyed, and so forth. Okay. And so I hope that there will be an aid to you. It gives you the passages to go look at, to examine, read everything in context. But I believe that the United States is going to be destroyed. I believe that one of the actual listed countries that is involved in that destruction is Iran. We're going to see passages about that tonight. I believe that the United States betrays Israel, and I pray that that's not the case here, but I have a fear that it might be. The temple will begin construction. That means that we have a red heifer, okay? And that is a factor. I mean, if events, every year people say, do you think this is the year? Well, to be honest, last year I thought it's starting to look like we're getting close. This year it looks like we're getting real close. But if you've been following the news on the red heifer, and if not, Rico Cortez did a interview with Yehuda Ben Zvi, who I'll do an interview with tomorrow. Go look at it on Facebook. I mean, I'm sure it's on his YouTube channel, or you probably can find it on Facebook. Look at the interview that I do coming up. Whether this red heifer calf or this possible future red heifer, whether she is disqualified or she makes it, that's not my question right here. The point is, they have no red heifer right now, and it will take a minimum of 2 years and 8 days. Okay? 2 years and 8 days, and then it is age-wise eligible. Before that, it's not. If I'm correct, that they start the temple services at the beginning of the birth pains, then that means we're still a couple years away minimum. Okay. And so I could very well be wrong on that. Okay. And so look at it, examine it, pray about it, and go for it. Okay. We're going to move into this. I do want to mention once again that please pray for the Randy Fields family. They lost their son, and his funeral was today. Also be praying for Tony Miller and his family. Jeanette Miller, his mother, passed away, and she was a dear, dear friend of ours. Also be praying for Grayson Jeffords. He's doing great. We want to continue to see him do well and be healed. Again, I'm going to be doing an interview with Yehuda Ben Zvi tomorrow about the red heifer and about the situation, the things that are going on in Israel. Pray that the Sanhedrin strengthens and comes together and becomes it reaches to the biblical authority that it was given. I am going to mention that we have a new donation button that you can donate to a program in Israel, not with us, but a program in Israel to teach the public on the Holy Temple. Okay. And so you can go to Jerusalem Temple Study, and if you want to donate to that, please do. Last announcement, we have a need for someone that would volunteer time, that is good with computers, that will help us in one aspect of the newsletter. And if you put your name up in the chat, I'll see it tonight, and we'll see about getting in touch with you and tell you what all's involved. Okay. All right. I'm going to go into the passages now, and let me get this set up here. All right. Now we are going to have time for questions and answers tonight. I'll make sure we have time. Okay. So this is out of the Babylon charts. These in particular deal with the Jewish population here in this country. And there's something that is very, very important in the first passage. And it says, Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Ashur, that's Assyria, devoured him. And last, this Nebuchadnezzar has broken his bones. Yirmiyahu, chapter 50, verse 17, the book of Jeremiah. Okay, so as you know, the ancient Babylon came down and conquered and burnt, destroyed, carried into captivity the Jewish people of that land. Nebuchadnezzar lifted himself up and declared that he was greater than God. And he ended up insane for 7 years, eating grass like cattle. And he repented, and God restored him. Okay. The city of Babylon is tremendously famous for its power, its strength. It had wall after wall after wall, and the walls were incredibly thick. It had a series of moats, and it was called the impregnable city. Nobody could breach its walls. But the Medes and the Persians, okay, same. Who is that? That's Iran. They came in and they stopped the Euphrates River. They dammed it. And they got in the riverbed and went under the wall, and the city fell in one night. Okay. I think that is a picture of the United States. But remember that basically the same enemy that we have been fighting, the same enemy that Israel has been fighting, are going to be key factors in that. All right. The second passage, this is going to be from Yirmiyahu also, chapter 50 and verse 33. Your main chapters, okay, are going to, on the fall of Babylon, are going to be Isaiah 13, Isaiah 14, Isaiah 17, Isaiah 18, Isaiah 22, Isaiah 24, Isaiah 47, Isaiah 48, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, is Zechariah chapter 2, in the book of Revelation, Revelation 17 and 18. Okay? Those are going to be in your charts. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Yehuda were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go. Now, to me, we're talking about the Jewish population within this country is and I believe that we're going to have something similar to concentration camps. And people in the past, I used to say that, and people would say, not here, not in the United States. But look at what's happening in New York City. Look at what's happening in communities all over look at the Islamic invasion of our country. And here in Texas, you don't mess with Texas. We have signs on the streets. Don't mess with Texas. But they are making an effort. And they are a storm that is coming. Look at what is happening in Great Britain. It's coming here. All right, let's go forward. Now, this passage, and I brought this out last week, I think that the significance of a red heifer, a red calf being born in the land of Israel, and the stir that it caused, the Israelis looking and seeing, they see the hand of God, okay? And at the same time, I believe that the treacherous dealer is this agreement that is being made right now, and that, as I mentioned, it's a betrayal of Israel. And so out of Yirmiyahu chapter 51:35, the violence done to me in my flesh shall be upon Babel. This is Babylon. Okay. By the way, this is the Jerusalem Bible from Coram Publishers. Shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Kasdim. That's the Kasdim is the Babylonians. That's the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans are the people that lived in Babylon. Shall Jerusalem say? Again, that's Yirmiyahu 51:35. Now, from Isaiah 21, we're going to look at the majority of Isaiah 21. The burden of the desert of the sea, as storms in the south sweep on, so it comes from the desert, from a terrible land. Now, that same phrase, from a terrible land, I want to give this to you. And by the way, Ibn Ezra, the great sage and scholar, made a comment on this. And if I can spot it, I'll show you the book. I'll see during the break period if I can find the book close by. Okay, but I want to read something to you. Isaiah 18. Woe to the land shattered with buzzing wings, which is beyond the rivers of Cush. Now, your Bible might say Ethiopia, but there are two regions that were called Cush. One is Ethiopia and Africa. The other is Mesopotamia. Okay. It is, you'll find that definition in Genesis chapter 10. Which sends ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels reed on the water, say, go swift messengers to a nation tall and smooth of skin, to a people terrible from their beginning onward. Just as it says here, from a terrible land. It means an awesome land. It doesn't mean that the people are mean people, but it means they're very awesome. A grievous vision is declared to me. He who desires to be treacherous may be treacherous, and he who desires to spoil may go up. O Elam, besiege, O Madai. Let me give you a definition of those words. Elam, the Elamites, that's modern day Iran. Madai, that's an ancient name of Iran. All its sign have I made to cease. That's Yeshayahu. Isaiah 21, 1 and 2. Therefore are my loins filled with anguish. Pains have taken hold upon me as the pains of a woman in travail. My goodness, this chapter is moving into the birth pains. I was bowed down so that I could not hear. I was dismayed so that I could not see. My heart reeled. Fearfulness frightened me. The night of my pleasure has he turned for me into terror. My heart reeled, fearfulness frightened me. The night of my pleasure has he turned for me into terror. This is chapter 21, verses 3 and 4. Now, here, I had this slide, or a similar one, in my presentation last week. I have this belief that when you have something bad happen, then you have something on the side of God that happens. But people will look at the bad and not see God is active, God is working, okay? So we have prepare the table. First thing, when you have the expression prepare the table, it immediately begins the idea of a festival, a celebration. Prepare the table, spread the carpet, eat and drink, arise, princes, and anoint the shield, okay? Now, the arise princes is Rosh Hashanah terminology. You'll see it very plainly in the passage, chapter 18, that I just read about the terrible land. In Isaiah 18:3, the great sage Saadia Gaon, who was the most influential Jewish man right before Moses Maimonides, and he wrote the 10 reasons for the blowing of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, Isaiah 18:3. When you blow a shofar. Okay, let me read it to you. All inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, when he lifts up a banner on the mountains, you see it. When he blows the shofar, you hear it. Now, his thing was his ninth reason out of the 10 reasons for the blowing of the shofar was based on that verse, the resurrection of the righteous. All inhabitants of the world, that's the dead, and dwellers on the earth, that's the living. A shofar blows and they arise from the dead. Okay, but they arise for what? They're going to a coronation. And that coronation is the coronation of the Messiah. And it says, prepare the table, spread the carpet, eat, drink, arise, princess, and anoint the shield. So let's define the shield. Oh God, this is from the Psalms. And then put the address in here. It's Psalm 84:10, I think. Oh God, behold our shield and look upon the face of your anointed. This last word, Panay, right here, that's the face of your Messiah. Okay, that is the coronation of the Messiah, and it is embedded in this chapter in the context of the treacherous dealer who dealeth treacherously. We're going to go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9 through 10. Now, I want to show you something. I want to show you the next slide. This is the Day of Judgment, Jewish Encyclopedia, the article on Day of Judgment, which I suggested that you read. And this was done in the early 1900s. Name given to the first of Tishri. Oh, first of Tishri, that's Rosh Hashanah, as being the New Year's Day. And how you say that in Hebrew? Rosh Hashanah. In the Bible, the day of blowing of the trumpet is the first of the 7th of the sabbatical month, Leviticus 23:24. And no mention is made of the day of judgment. The day of God, in the sense of a time of divine judgment of the wicked, is the one that will appear at the end of days. And it references you to 2 articles. I'd recommend you read them both, Day of the Lord and Eschatology, in the Jewish Encyclopedia. And a description of the divine judgment in heaven is found in Daniel 7, verses 9, 10, and 22. Why did I want to read this article? Because we're about to read Daniel chapter 7, verse 9 and 10, where the Ancient of Days is depicted as sitting upon the throne while the books are open before him. We're not going to go into tonight what the books are, but I saw in the, wait, got to go this way. This is Daniel 7, 9 and 10, and I looked, thrones were placed. And an Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like the pure wool. His throne was fiery flames, its wheels being burning fire. By the way, where it says wheels, it's the Hebrew word galim. Okay, it's right, the third to the last word. It is a type of angel. Okay, it's the Ophanim that you see in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. A fire stream issued and came forth from before him. 1,000 thousands served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. They sat in judgment, and the books were open. Okay, that is the story of the birth pains of the Messiah. Okay, and so we're going to go down 2 verses lower. Okay, we've already read that. And here we're at chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, that's the Messiah, coming with the clouds of heaven. That's the righteous that are dead, and I think the righteous living that were called to the coronation, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. By the way, in the book of Revelation, chapter 4 and 5 are going to give you the same thing, filling in some more detail. and there was given him dominion. Okay, so you have a domain and glory and a kingdom, and I have highlighted here the Hebrew Malku, and a kingdom that all the peoples, nations, and tongues should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed. Okay, and that's going to go for 7 years in the heavenlies, and then it comes to earth. All right, I'm going to go back because I want you to have the context here. If I can find my cursor, I'm going to go back. All right, here we go. Okay, so here, so this is all right, Isaiah 21, 3 and 4. And so this is Isaiah 21, verse 5. Okay, again, it says, prepare the table, spread the carpet, eat, drink, arise, princes, and anoint the shield. Now let's drop down, and we're going to pick up this chapter again. Okay, so we're in verse 6. For thus has the Lord said to me, go set a watchman, let him declare what he sees. And if he should see riders, pairs of horsemen, riders on asses, riders on camels, he should hearken diligently with much heed. And he cried like a lion. My Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I stand on guard whole nights. And behold, here come men riding, pairs of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the carved images of her gods is broken to the ground. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe to me. Traitors have dealt treacherously. This is Isaiah 24:16. Traitors have dealt very treacherously. And so, again, this is the Jerusalem Bible from Coram Publishers. And you can read chapter 24, and it's talking about the start of the birth pains. It's talking about all the things that will occur and so forth. All right. So, I want to switch gears now. First off, if you've been listening, you know that I am not in favor of this peace agreement, and my hopes is that it will fall apart. I am certainly not in favor of the United States telling Israel what they must do and what they cannot do. I am not in favor of Israel being kept out of the loop on what is happening and the way that they have been treated. I believe that if this goes through, it's going to bring judgment on this country. And I think that it will be a very, very bad thing. I am not anti-Trump. I don't have Trumpophobia. I am praying that he will turn from where he is. I've already mentioned I do not like the statements that he has made concerning the Israeli prime minister and the Israeli government and so forth. I am very disturbed with J.D. Vance, and I have a real fear of this man succeeding Donald Trump. Years ago, I'm going to say it was 10 or 11 years ago, I attended a conference in Abilene, Texas, and Rabbi Chaim Richman was speaking. His wife spoke, his assistant spoke, his son spoke, who's an archaeologist, and Chaim has been a personal friend for years and years. And he made the statement, and I agree with this. He made the statement that he wished that Israel would turn away from all American aid. And they need to, first off, Israel needs to depend on God. Okay? Israel needs to depend on God and call upon God to deliver them. Israel needs to develop whatever resources. When you call upon God, it doesn't mean that you just say, okay, I'm not going to do anything. We are to go forward and to build. There's an old statement that God helps those who help themselves. I disagree with this statement. I believe that part of depending on God, God gives you the wisdom of how to apply what you have, and you are to move forward. Okay. The just had a conversation during the break about when Israel came out of Egypt and God parted the sea, when Israel crossed the Jordan. The tribe of Yehuda was at the front of the line, okay? And the tribe of Yehuda was, the prince of Yehuda was Nachshon. And years ago, I was involved in a project called Olam Habayit, okay, in Israel. I was one of the directors of it. And it was, we were working to build a theme park in Israel in the Holy Temple, a life-size model of the temple. And we were in conjunction with the Temple Institute. We had the city of Ma'ale Adumim had given us some property to build this place on. And we hired a company to draw up a business plan. And they had worked on a previous project that is still, you can see it in Israel at the Israel Museum. It's called Mini Israel. But they were headquartered at a place called Kibbutz Nachshon. And Kibbutz Nachshon, it didn't relate why this name. It was the first kibbutz that was built in the territory that was gained in the 1967 war. And because it was the first. What Nachshon means in Hebrew is be first. But there's an interesting point about the real Nachshon, the real crossing of the sea. When he stepped in, the sea wasn't parted. It was still a raging sea, but he believed God and he went forward into the water. And when he stepped in the water, only at that time did God part the waters. And it's time now that we do everything in order to bring the Sanhedrin to its fullness, because we're going to need it for the Holy Temple. We do everything, and this is going to be the hand of God to get a red heifer. It has to follow all the rules. You can't fudge on any of it. But there has been some statements that have been made. I've heard the statements that we don't really have to have a red heifer. And where they're coming from, there's a truth there, okay? But I want to kind of cover this. You see, I can't talk about the bad without talking about the good, because they go hand in hand. And so in the Gemara, in the Talmud Bavli, Pesukim, okay? So we're going to share, I'm going to show you this, and we're going to be going to questions in just a few minutes. All right. The Gemara asks, this is Talmud Bavli Pesukim, that means Passover, 77a, and it actually goes from 77a through 79a, I think. Okay, that it's going to talk about this topic. I chose one paragraph. It's the third paragraph. That's why the three. The Gemara asks, is that to say that all of them come from, in other words, are derived from the term appointed time? Now, you know that term, modin, or a moed. From where are these matters derived? The Gemara answers, it is as the sages taught based upon the verse, and Moshe declared the appointed times of the Lord to the children of Israel. That's Vayikra, Leviticus 23:44. What is the meaning when the verse states this phrase? The phrase is necessary because we learn only that the daily offering, that's the tamid, that's the morning shachari and the afternoon minha, we're talking about in the temple, and the paschal lamb override Shabbat and ritual impurity. In other words, they don't have to have a red heifer in order to perform the tamid and the Passover lamb, and we'll see it's going to be derived a little bit more, as it's stated with regard to them. In its appointed time, from which it is derived that each of them must be sacrificed in its appointed time, and even on Shabbat. In its appointed time, and even in ritual impurity. That would mean corpse impurity. Okay? Go to the next one. This is the fourth paragraph. With regard to the rest of the communal offerings, from where is it derived that they also override Shabbat and ritual impurity? As it is stated with regard to additional offerings that are brought on the festivals. These you shall sacrifice to the Lord in your appointed times. Okay, in other words, a moed, an appointed time. Let me go to the next one. I'm going to go through what these are. This is about the next to last slide, if not the last. Let me show this. All right, I'm going to just show it here. I'm not going to put it on the screen. Okay, so we have a communal slaughterhouse right here. Okay, right there. See that? It looks like a little checkerboard. Okay, that's where communal offerings are done. So the tamid is a communal offering. Now, if you're bringing a personal offering, you see right here and right here, these are for your personal offerings. So if you don't have a red heifer, you cannot bring personal offerings, only communal offerings. And a communal offering has to be for an appointed time. And so that overrides even Shabbat, okay? That overrides even if you don't have if you do have corpse impurity. So it applies to communal offerings of fixed times, including the Pesach, the Shabbat Musaf, that's your additional offerings that are listed in Numbers chapter 28. The Rosh Chodesh Musaf, okay? That's going to be also in Numbers 28. Your Yom Tov Musaf, okay? So that's Rosh Hashanah. It's a Yom Tov. Your Yom Kippur service. The Sukkot Musafim. And by the way, there's something that should have been here is, and I'm sure it's covered in the Yom Tov Musaf of Shavuot. The Gemara does not say that the Pradama purification is unnecessary because it is a festival. Rather, it says that the obligation is set aside because these are Korbanot Zibor with fixed times. Okay, that's important. So here, we got big plans, big things that are coming together. And I'm going to go back and show this slide. You can take notes or whatever. But I'm going to keep on talking and then we'll. All right, so here's the list. Okay. So this does not mean we don't have to have a red heifer. We do. And that red heifer has to be the right age. It has to have all the qualifications. Can't have the disqualifications. That must be done. Because once you start the services, you've got to be able to do the entire service. You know, for instance, if you had a Matzorah, you had a person that has biblical leprosy without a red heifer, he can't go. The private offerings, the tithe offerings, the firstborn offerings, the first fruits, the various bread offerings, you can't do those. You got to have the red heifer. And so the peace offerings, all of that. we have a great move of God. Right now, we have a move of Hasatan, I would say. And we have a move of God. So we need to be aware of what the Hasatan is doing, and we need to pray against it, stand against it. Do not make the mistake of, in your standing against it, you even elevate these that are doing that. Okay, you don't want to make a idol or worship that's not there. At the same time, you want to be on top of what's happening in the kingdom of God. And let me tell you, the center of the world, the center of the universe is Jerusalem. And Israel is the country of the world. And you and I, we need to stand with Israel right now. All right. Let me check and make sure that I don't. Yeah. Let's read this last slide. An eligible red heifer, the Paradama, will require 2 years and 8 days from birth, but she may be slaughtered. In the past, from Bamidbar 19, Israel always had ashes of previous red heifers. We don't today. It is required. Once you start services, you must continue. This brings us to a number of communal services as well as all personal offerings and services that could not be performed without new ashes. All right, these are all the slides I have. I do want to mention that there are Mishnah Walk has some articles on the coming Sanhedrin and some of the issues. You might want to go there. Victor can put up the link to these articles, but you might want to check that out. And so, at any rate, people, let's go to questions. And we are here. All right. And Jeff Fallsberg. Jeff, I love seeing your name. Love your devotion. All right. Let's see. Okay, Richard Setzinger from Greenwood, Arkansas. And it's always a blessing for you to be here, and I love talking to you. All right. Barb DeCamp. Okay, so her husband is the one that did the charts that should be up here. Gabrielle was going to put them up here. From Hartford, Arizona. Please be praying for her, and also be praying for Guy. He's got some tests that we gotta. We hope everything's okay. All right. Deb Galacta Heath from Beth Emanuel, and somewhere down here we're going to have another from Beth Emanuel in a moment. Jen Smalley from Indiana. I hope to see you before the year's out. Again. All right, Victor from Missouri, and that's your Mishnah Walk, and he should be putting up some links now. Denise Perez 4, shalom everyone, and shalom to you. Ramon Vasquez from New York. Oh, I pray for all the people in New York. My goodness. Scott Paddock. And by the way, if you ever want to, Scott Paddock, Kyle Hershey, Edgar Ramos, all these guys, Gabriel, if you need some speakers sometimes, these guys are good, real good. Mike Fincher. And Mike's been with us numbers of times to Israel, and his son might be on with us tonight. Jackie Gaylor. Oh my goodness. Jackie and her husband, Jimmy, some of our best friends, longtime friends from Odessa. All right. Crystal Clapton. All right. President Trump needs new advisors. He is misguided. That's a concern. And I hope things will work and turn from where they are right now. Gail Thomas from Georgia. And Gail, I'd love to see you. And if we come that way, I hope we can link up in Georgia. And Janet Meadows. And Jenna, I didn't realize you were back in Georgia now. I thought you were in Alabama. Here's Betty Brush from Beth Emanuel, also from Wisconsin. And all right, Christine Jett, do you think this move from Trump/USA government will result in curses on the USA, ultimately leading to the fall of Babylon? I do. And let me mention that I think let's see. I need to stop sharing. All right. Now you can save it. I think that if you remember Gush Katif, when the Jews were forced to shut down their communities and withdraw out of Gaza, and it was supposed to bring peace. And there was pressure that was put on by our government to the Israeli government. Well, that year, we had more hurricanes than any other year, as far as I know, in the history of the United States since I've been recording hurricanes. I was personally involved in 3 hurricanes that year. That was the year of Katrina. That was the year of Rita. And I mean, Rita, Katrina hit New Orleans, and the levees broke and they had all that flooding. Rita hit us and it just devastated us. Wilma, 3 Cat 5 hurricanes hitting the coast. They had to store it over in the names because they went through the entire alphabet. Okay. You mess with Israel, I think that it's going to bring judgment on the United States. And I hope that everything that I've taught tonight or that I've suggested tonight, I hope that I'm wrong, that the United States is not the treacherous dealer that deals treacherously. I hope that the peace negotiations as they stand right now fall apart, and that the United States will join with Israel and finish the job concerning Iran and Lebanon and Gaza, and the Houthis also. Let's go back here to okay. All right. Kay Nolan Baird from Kay in Texas. Okay, very good. All right. Los Messias. I can't. My Spanish is horrible. My English is bad too. And but shalom and all of you. Shalom, shalom. All right. Joseph Miller, good friend of mine. Very good. Daryl Wade, similarly. Does anyone believe, as in the past, Persia launched an attack against Babylon under her gates and destroyed Babylon? Will this happen again with help from Russia? Iran News has been publishing videos of Iran getting nuclear weapons into the United States. There's a good chance this event could be done for future Rosh Hashanah in order to send a signal about the USA helping Israel. A birthday gift, as it were. Sorry so long, and hope this short summary made sense. I don't mind that it wasn't that long at all. But yes, I think that a parallel here is that the Babylon had these massive defenses, And give me a second, I'll show, I think. Well, next week I'll try to show a book. I have a book that literally was put out by the Bible Lands Museum. I went to see an exhibit of Persia, Babylon, Greece, and all of these various cultures there. And they had on a whole major section of the book dealt with Babylon and its defenses. Likewise, they were considered the most powerful nation of their day and time. The United States, we have all types of defenses. We have a huge military. We're stretched kind of thin, and I think there are a lot of problems in our military. But I believe that no matter what your defenses are, no matter how much you might try, just like Babylon, that an enemy will get through when it's the right time, and there will be a destruction. And by the way, that it is a time that if you are not living your life with God, now's the time to do that. Okay. All right. But yes, I would give a parallel to that in a moment. Okay, Shalom, just follow him. Shalom from Montana. I wonder if that's Ryan, Mike Fincher's son. All right. And Gabriel Gallegos, and he does so much behind the scenes. It's just tremendous. Janet Meadows, Vance has to go. I would feel a lot better if he did. All right. And again, I think this is Ryan. Israel must maintain a buffer in Lebanon. Yes, and then for the present time, Israel has to have that buffer. Now, I mentioned that this tunnel I showed you was 6 kilometers. That's 3 3/4 miles. The city I live in is not a big city, but our Walmart is 4 miles. So from my house, imagine an enemy with that type of facility, with hundreds of fighters, with stockpiles of weapons and missiles that they are firing. And they fire, and that does, again, nobody says Hezbollah needs to stop. Israel responds, and everybody screams that Israel's the problem. Israel's the problem. And so, all right. Israel must maintain a buffer in Lebanon. Since Israel didn't sign the MOU, the U.S. is pressured to restrain its ally. This MOU is intentionally designed to create a rift between the U.S. and Israel. What bothers me about it is that was drawn up by the United States. That's one of the things that bothers me. Betty Brush, I'm 100% for Israel, and I am too. Okay. Oh, honey, 3GS. It's disheartening. It is disheartening hearing some of the recent comments from our government leaders regarding Israel. I'll continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Wait and stay. Here's something that we should pray for. Pray that voices in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, reasonable voices will say this deal's not good, and be a voice and make their voice heard. I'm not talking about the liberals that come out that accuse Trump every time he sneezes. Okay, the liberals that come out and say my dog got sick, it's Israel's fault. Okay, I'm talking about the men of reason to make a stand against this. It is a bad deal, not only for Israel, but definitely for the United States. Scott Bruce, having spent a career in the political area, although not nearly at this level, my comment would be that we must all remember that an MOU is not binding and the president knows it. Very good. Very good. The whole thing smacks of a technique to get Iran to show their colors again in full view of all the world. And I pray that that's the case. The MOU is replete with waffle language. Wait and see. And listen, I am going to be with you on this because I don't want our government to deport from Israel. I want Israel to become independent of the need for the arms and so forth from us. But I want us to be allies and work together. And I just pray that that will happen. Darren Anthony, shalom from New York City. Horrible deal, a total loss. Anything less than destruction of Iranian regime is a win for Iran. I agree. Trump tossed his only ally under the bus. I hope Israel can stand alone economically and militarily. I know it will stand because we have that in the Word of God. By the way, I did read that Trump lost both the House and Senate regarding continued military action. Perhaps he realizes support is winning for this and he'd be stopped anyway. I expect Israel to take total military control of Lebanon. Only way to protect itself. Keeping Israel away from negotiations were horrible. Please pray for New York City. I agree with you. We have a terrorist mayor who's beginning to show his true nature, and I could not agree with you more. I have several friends that are rabbis in New York City. All right. Nadia Carmona replying from Tennessee. All right, thank you. All right. Shalom from this is Darian Ruth Johnson from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and shalom to you. Mike Fincher, seems like our president is doing the Tucker Carlson ship. I hope not. I pray that it's not true. All roads seem to lead back to Qatar. I don't trust Qatar either. Gloria Pelletier Shalom from Cutler, Ontario, Canada. Very good. And y'all have got, listen, what happened in Montreal, the rabbi that was shot, some of the things that are happening there, we pray for you. Prayers for Israel every day and night. And please continue, and we'll continue with you. All right, Richard Setzinger. Do you think that Rome may have an influence upon VP Vance and his views toward Israel? That's possible. From Mishnah Walk. On the required communal offerings while carrying corpse impurity, can 5 or 50 observe without the ashes, or does it require the masses wanting to keep it while in an impure state? That's a question I have. That's one of the reasons I read that, is that, people say, well, we really don't have to have a red heifer. In the past, they had ashes. And so if you had a number of people that were impure, we read about a Passover at the time of Hezekiah that was that way. Then certain things are allowed. But here, you have no ashes, and everybody is impure except the priests that had been kept away from corpse impurity so that they could perform this ceremony. And so this is a question. We need a Sanhedrin. We need a Sanhedrin. We need where decisions can be made. And it's time that we start getting together our act of the questions and be able to do the research and then be able to present to the authorities that be. All right, pray for that. Okay. Dali Lopez, shalom, shalom, my beautiful mishpacha from Edinburgh, Texas, praying for the peace of Jerusalem and for our big brother Yehuda, all Israel. May Hashem strengthen us in this time. Very much so. Okay, so Victor has placed some up here, and I did not see the Babylon charts. Okay, blessings to you and Debbie and your family. Fervent prayers for Israel from Gloria Pelletier. Kathy Murray, shalom from Northern California. And may God be with California and put down the liberal government that is destroyed that state and raise up a righteous government and one that will take responsibility. Okay, and Joseph Miller, again, shalom. From John Hall, they cannot finish Iran because Iran is in Ezekiel 38 as Persia, so she's going to survive and still hate Israel. Unfortunately, I wish it was different, but that's God's plan. That is true, that Ezekiel 38 is one of the Gog and Magog allies that will be there. That's very true. And I do know that too. And they will not be fully destroyed for sure. And if they are destroyed, they will have a comeback at some point and participate in all these things. Okay. Gloria Pelletier, Amen. Thank you. My friend attends the synagogue in Montreal. He called me and he knew the Jewish man that was killed. I was a rabbi. Prayers for all of Israel in the dispersion as well. My understanding is the response on his being killed, the anti-Semitic response was overwhelming, that people were saying that he was just a Jew. And so anti-Semitism is at a huge high. Okay, Ramon Vasquez. I know this deal is not binding yet, but from what I understand, is a lot worse than the Obama deal that was signed in 2015. That is true. Kathy Murray, amen, amen. All right, Scott Paddock. How wary should we be about an AI takeover dependence? Does it seem that this is what the false prophet is in the longer run, bigger picture in the future? I am very frightened by the AI. I want to try something. I don't know if I can do this. Let me see if I can. I don't know why the charts did not go up. I'm going to see if I can get them right now. All right. All right. Let me try something different. That didn't work. All right. I'm going to try to put this here. I hope it'll work. And if not, we will work out a way that next week we get them up for you. The charts guy did a tremendous job on them, and I think that will help you in looking at the passages. And hopefully, possibly there or in your chats on Facebook um, and on YouTube. And so, all right. Let me let y'all go and thank you for being with us and please be praying for Israel. And hopefully we're going to have a turnaround on this whole thing. Be praying for the troops that are in Lebanon. Be praying for the progress to go forward on the Holy Temple, the Sanhedrin to come together, and realize that on July 2nd, we have the 17th of Tammuz. It's a fast day. It has mourning for the temple. But watch what happens around that time. We enter the 3 weeks to Tisha B'Av, and this is going to be a prime time that you will see numbers of events occur. All right. Shalom, everyone, and God bless you. Sorry, my computer's slow and going.
Shalom, mi nombre es Gabriel Gallegos. Saludos a todos aquellos seguidores de Hacktivac Ministries, en especial a nuestra comunidad latina. El día de hoy queremos compartir con ustedes uno de los artículos más impresionantes que podemos tener en nuestra tienda virtual. Te invitamos a que te quedes y a conocer más del modelo tridimensional del templo. Les presento el nuevo modelo del templo. Una de las cosas adicionales que se han agregado en esta impresión es esta base donde está de una manera inclinada de 45 grados. ¿Para qué? Para que pueda enseñarse mejor a nuestra audiencia. O si usted, al igual que a mí, le gusta ponerlo de la manera tradicional y ponerlo en una superficie plana, pues también puedo hacerlo. De esta manera usted lo puede poner en su oficina o en su lugar de estudio o en su lugar de reunión. ¿Para qué? Para que la gente pueda admirar la gran maravilla de lo que se ha podido llegar a hacer. Ahora les voy a invitar a que me sigan acompañando para mirar las siguientes adiciones que se le han agregado a este nuevo modelo. Uno de los nuevos aspectos de este nuevo modelo tridimensional son los colores que se han añadido, como el color oro, el color blanco, un café y un café un poquito más claro. Podemos mirar el color blanco en los 15 escalones que están en el atrio de las mujeres, como también en las 4 lámparas. Podemos mirar el color blanco en el misbeach, en el altar, como también en los 2 escalones que están entre el ulam y el altar. Podemos encontrar este color blanco también en estos pequeños mikvaot o también baños de inmersión que se han añadido. También podemos apreciar en el misbeach, el altar, se agregaron a color las 3 fogatas y en el centro podemos encontrar de color café más claro las cenizas del altar. Otro de los buenos beneficios de este modelo es de que los edificios adicionales, el techo puede ser removido. En el edificio sureste podemos mirar cómo el área donde el Sanedrín se reunía para hacer sus juicios, y también se ha agregado un color azul en donde está el lavacro, para así poder distinguir las diferentes áreas. Les agradecemos mucho a cada uno de ustedes, especialmente a la comunidad latina, por estarnos acompañando. Pueden ir a Jerusalem Temple Studies y buscar la opción tienda o store en inglés y luego buscar modelos del templo y ahí podrán obtener el suyo. Bendiciones y gracias por su apoyo. Shalom. nombre es Gabriel Gallegos. Saludos a todos aquellos seguidores de Hacktivac Ministries, en especial a nuestra comunidad latina. El día de hoy queremos compartir con ustedes uno de los artículos más impresionantes que podemos tener en nuestra tienda virtual. Te invitamos a que te quedes y a conocer más del modelo tridimensional del templo. Les presento el nuevo modelo del templo. Una de las cosas adicionales que se han agregado en esta impresión es esta base donde está de una manera inclinada de 45 grados. ¿Para qué? Para que pueda enseñarse mejor a nuestra audiencia. O si usted, al igual que a mí, le gusta ponerlo de la manera tradicional y ponerlo en una superficie plana, pues también puedo hacerlo. De esta manera usted lo puede poner en su oficina o en su lugar de estudio o en su lugar de reunión. ¿Para qué? Para que la gente pueda admirar la gran maravilla de lo que se ha podido llegar a hacer. Ahora les voy a invitar a que me sigan acompañando para mirar las siguientes adiciones que se le han agregado a este nuevo modelo. Uno de los nuevos aspectos de este nuevo modelo tridimensional son los colores que se han añadido, como el color oro, el color blanco, un café y un café un poquito más claro. Podemos mirar el color blanco en los 15 escalones que están en el atrio de las mujeres, como también en las 4 lámparas. Podemos mirar el color blanco en el misbeach, en el altar, como también en los 2 escalones que están entre el ulam y el altar. Podemos encontrar este color blanco también en estos pequeños mikvaot o también baños de inmersión que se han añadido. También podemos apreciar en el misbeach, el altar, se agregaron a color las 3 fogatas y en el centro podemos encontrar de color café más claro las cenizas del altar. Otro de los buenos beneficios de este modelo es de que los edificios adicionales, el techo puede ser removido. En el edificio sureste podemos mirar cómo el área donde el Sanedrín se reunía para hacer sus juicios, y también se ha agregado un color azul en donde está el lavacro para así poder distinguir las diferentes áreas. Les agradecemos mucho a cada uno de ustedes, especialmente a la comunidad latina, por estarnos acompañando. Pueden ir a Jerusalem Temple Studies y buscar la opción tienda o store en inglés y luego buscar modelos del templo y ahí podrán obtener el suyo. Bendiciones y gracias por su apoyo. Shalom.